JJ, I mean, does this interest you at all? Like creating something like,
Yes,
digital entertainment?
Very much so. In fact, there are a couple things we're working on right now at Bad Robot that I think will be, sort of following Joss's lead on that. To me, the technology that exists it's remarkable what you can do. We shot a commercial for like a Star Trek DVD, literally using the camera that I used to film my kids' soccer games. Like the fact, the Canon 5D Mark II. Like the fact that you can use that camera and it looks the way it does, it has the lenses that you can get, and that you can go and rent one, you can go and buy one. Someone has one. It's like you can actually make movies now. And so for me, the doing something like Star Trek, clearly you need the resources of a studio, and also they own Star Trek. But when you have an idea for something and you've got friends, like I think my guess is that what Joss realized was he's working with the people he would hire at the studio. He knows them. They are friends. Why not ask them if they want to do this? They can be owners in this thing. They can, have put their heart and soul into it, and it's a shorter, typically, investment of time. So to me, it's a hugely exciting thing. And there's actually someone here, we haven't sort of signed all the documents yet, but there's someone who has a table here on the floor who's got a series of characters, and we're actually working with her to create one of these things now that will hopefully be out online sooner than later.
Joss, with all that said, is there a Dr. Horrible sequel in the works, or is that just a question of time availability of your talent?
Works is a strong word. It's in turnaround at the studio of me. It's me and Jed, Marissa, and Zach going, man, I've written a couple songs. We got to get together. Yeah, we totally got to do that. It's going really well. If we had the time, we really do feel like we know what the movie is, and we really want to do it, and we want to do it on our terms, but our terms seem to be interminable.
You guys have your own production companies, and we know their names very well: Bad Robot, Mutant Enemy.
They should fight.
Yeah, they should. Who would win?
Or kiss.
In the new media future, could these be like channels like on the internet? Like, will there be sort of like a Bad Robot channel like in the future that is programmed with material, or a Mutant Enemy channel that's programmed with material?
I think for me the problem with a channel is to actually keep up with the amount of material that you would need. The one day, which would be day 2, that someone goes there and like, oh, nothing new. It's like you're over. So in theory it's great. I would rather do a Bad Robot button that appears on various places on the internet, and when there's something new, you click on it and then you go there.
I always dream of the channel. I always go, oh, and I've got all these ideas, but then I realize, but then I'd have to write them. And yeah, day 2, you're like, it's coming any minute now, stay tuned. You'd have to basically build your entire product like long before you showed anything. And but I think the idea of a channel, you just devolved it into a button. It's changing. It's gonna be something very different. I do think if I saw something that said Bad Robot, I would push that button, or hit that widget, or touch that 3D holographic knob, whatever the hell you're supposed to do to get to it. I would kiss that robot.
In about 10 minutes, a little less, we're going to open it up to questions. So where's the microphone? Anyway, just start lining up. I know you have a lot of questions. Joss, you just got done. Dollhouse has come to an end, unfortunately.
What?
And you produced Dollhouse after being away from television for a while. Now that Dollhouse is over, how are you feeling about television? Kind of like, what lessons have you learned about sort of what television wants and supports right now?
I don't know why this question sounds a little bit like, well, are you proud of what you did? Well, maybe you should sit in the corner and think about it. That might just be me projecting. It must have been the wrong place. It must have been the wrong time. I really did, I definitely was trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. And we, I think, both benefited from the great square hole of television, the WB, where they were just interested in people like us who had a story we knew how to tell, and they let us do that. That is very rare. It doesn't exist anymore. Literally, the WB doesn't exist anymore. My experiences at Fox have not been successful, and ultimately it is just because there is a certain kind of incompatibility that is very easy to miss. Because I like genre stuff, that's what they wanted. You say the word sexy, sex, they think that's sexy, but can you not mention sex? It's just, I clearly have more of a cable mentality than I realized. And I've been away from television for a while, and I didn't know that. I didn't know how much things had changed. I didn't look at Janet Jackson's nipple, and I didn't know how much trouble it caused. So what I learned was know your audience, and your first audience are the people who are paying you to make the thing. Which is why right now, I'm at Marvel. I'm extremely happy. I'm working with Kevin Feige, and it's a very different experience. This is, Kevin and Jeremy, the two people I work with, the executives, that they're the studio. They're the producers. It's the same entity, and they know what they want. And up front, they're very clear when they don't get it. They know what they want, and that's a great experience. The other one is doing stuff, on the internet, the smaller stuff where I'm the boss, but I have to call my friend to see if he has any outfits, and both of those are great for different reasons. Television, I love serialized storytelling, but I didn't quite think that one through.
You love serialized storytelling. Is there still a market right now for intensely serialized stories? I mean, Lost is over now, unfortunately. And it seems that as it kind of went out, there seems to be that the TV landscape kind of turned against intensely serialized stories. And do you sense that TV networks are not interested in that kind of format right now?
I think typically they're not. They want shows that can repeat. They want shows, the studios want shows that will syndicate and serialized shows. I'm just personally less naturally interested in non-serialized shows. I enjoy the investment in and the anticipation in the characters and what's going to happen and what conditions are really going on. And to me, that's the thing that always grabs you. And I think they want it too. They just don't know it. When they talk about stories imply time. Stories imply inevitability and some kind of progress. And so I think that the trick is, and I know that the showrunners on Fringe have been working really hard to kind of maintain an ongoing story as well as keeping every episode feeling as much as a self-contained thing as possible. But I'm personally drawn to that. This new show that we're doing on NBC Undercovers is a show that is much more self-contained, but it naturally will have and has just, as we've been working on the episodes, developed a story that is being told over time. You don't need to watch 1 through 5 to get what's happening in 6. But to me, that's the story that, for whatever reason, I'm naturally drawn to that kind of story.
Joss, did you want to take that question at all?
I think the networks will never, ever ask for that. They will never admit that people want that, because they do see the easy cash cow of the Mentalist. Let's all make the Mentalist. And when Lost first hit and was just blowing up huge and everybody was loving it, we were all so into it, they were still like, we don't want that. That successful Emmy-winning thing? No, we don't want that. I mean, they would speak against serialized storytelling while it was the only thing people were watching on television, because they're thinking bottom line. It's very weird, because ultimately the serial is always going to be the thing people remember. What do they remember about Cheers? Sam and Diane, not a great joke from Cheers. They remember that. And so I like both. I like to have some sort of resolve, so I don't feel like I'm still angry about The Empire Strikes Back, okay? That movie doesn't have an ending. That's not okay with me. So, I like to split the diff, but the progression is what it's all about. Well, it doesn't. He's frozen in carbonite.